Now, this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about for some while, the BBFC versus the MPAA system, and I found a video by Tyler Preston20 in which he talks about it, so I thought I'd do a video response to him, and hopefully educate some of you guys about the BBFC system if you don't really know anything about it. So first I'd like to go over some points he made that are inaccurate. First is he said the equivalent of the R rating is the 15 rating, and the equivalent of the NC-17 rating is the 18 rating. That's not true. The NC-17 rating is rarely given out by the MPAA. Rarely. It needs to be like really extreme, really sexual for it to get the NC-17 rating. Over in England, the 18 rating is not uncommon. They give an 18 rating out sometimes for really stupid reasons, which I'll go over later. A lot of 18 rated films get the R rating in America, and the 18 and 15 rating are circling around the R rating in the MPAA system, basically. And actually, some NC-17 rated films have actually gotten a 15 certificate over here in England. These include Monsters Ball, Blue Valentine. I know Blue Valentine's NC-17 rating was appealed, but it still got an NC-17 rating. Bad Education, South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, which I heard was like submitted to the MPA 6 times before they gave it an R rating, and also Team America World Police. They all got 15 certificates over here. But most of the NC-17 rated films do get an 18 certificate over here, but about 90% of the 18 rated films here are rated R in America. Another thing which you said, which is in the description, is that the BBFC is more lenient on sexual content. It is, which it is, yeah. And on language, which it isn't. And I have examples for you here, okay? So, this is Argo, which I'm sure you've heard of. This is Himitsu, which I'm sure you haven't heard of. Okay. And they both got their respective ratings because of language. Argo got a 15 certificate. 15. Because of strong language. There you go, strong language. And when it says strong language, it basically means it said fuck. And the rule is by the BBFC that you can say fuck as many times as you want in a 15 rated film. There's no restrictions for fuck. However, Himitsu got an 18 certificate for very strong language. And what does very strong language mean? It means they said cunt in it more than 3 times. Oh, more than 3 times. Because you're allowed to say cunt in a 15 rated film 3 times. That's the maximum length. If you say cunt in an aggressive manner or is directed at someone, it instantly gets an 18 certificate. If you say it more than 3 times, it gets an 18 certificate. So, you know, this says it a horrible 5 times! Can you believe that? 5 whole times, and because of that it gets an 18 certificate, so it's on the same level as Saw. And another really extreme example I can give of this is the Julia Roberts film that came out about 2 years ago, Eat, Pray, Love. Now, when Eat, Pray, Love was released in the cinema over here, it got a PG certificate. By the MPAA, it got a PG-13 certificate. So, you know, it was down 1 rating by BBFC. But when Eat, Pray, Love was released on DVD, it got a 15 certificate. Why did it jump up 2 ratings when it came out on DVD? Well, that's simply because of the term motherfucker, which is said once in the movie. So, because they say motherfucker in the film, which was censored for the PG-rated release, that means the whole film is on the same level as Kick-Ass, which is rated 15. Just think about that for a second. That's pretty insane. All because of language. Another thing I'd like to briefly talk about is the G and PG and U and PG ratings as well. And, you know, the equivalent of the G is the U and PG. But it seems like now the MPAA rarely give out G ratings. Over here in the UK, though, U ratings are quite common. as I'm speaking and making this video, there are currently 3 U-rated films in the cinema. Monsters University, Turbo, and Planes. Turbo and Planes are rated PG in America. And on the subject of Pixar, there are 3 Pixar films that are rated PG in America, and there's also 3 Pixar films that are rated PG over here. 2 of them are the same. Brave. The other 2 are different. In America, it's The Incredibles and Up. In England, it's Toy Story and Cars. Also, this doesn't really count, but I thought I'd bring it up, is Ratatouille on Blu-ray is rated PG. On DVD, though, it has a U rating. And it's only rated PG on Blu-ray because of special features. And also, believe it or not, there are some R-rated movies in America that have an incredibly low rating over here. And the one example I can give here is Never Let Me Go, which has a 12 certificate over here because of sex and nudity. In America, it's got an R rating because of sex and nudity. So it's on the same level as Saw. I just find that incredibly ridiculous, you know. It's on the same level as Saw. Over here it's on the same level as the Harry Potter films and Lord of the Rings. Another film that also happened to is The Wonder, which is a Terrence Malick film that came out last year. However, I said the R rating to the 12 rating, you know, is a big steep down, but I'm not saying the BBFC are PG perfect. There are some PG-13 rated films that are rated 15 over here. I have one here. House of Flying Daggers. 15 certificate. Another example I can give is a film that came out recently, World War Z. 15 here. And The Hunger Games, which has a 15 certificate here as well. But wait, it gets even better. If you think the BBFC giving 15 certificates to PG-13 rated films is drastic, wait till you hear this bit of news. Because there are actually 2 films in the UK that were given a PG-13 certificate by the MPAA, but over here, they're rated 18. Those 2 films are Taken and The Last Exorcism. And one final thing I like that the BBFC do that the MPAA don't do is this. For one, what the MPAA do is that they list everything that the film contains, basically. Over here in England, the BBFC, they only list why the film is rated that. And just an example of what I mean is this film here, 300. So 300 has a 15 certificate. In America, it's got an R rating. It's got an R rating because of its like violence, sexuality, and nudity, and it lists that. Over here, it's rated 15 because of strong bloody violence, which means that the nudity and the sex in this film, according to the BBFC, was at a 12 level. So they don't list the nudity. Now, you may think that I'm here just praising the BBFC as the god amongst age rating systems because I'm a biased British guy. Well, you're wrong. Because the BBFC has one major flaw that the MPAA and America don't have. And that's this. In England, it is illegal for any film, DVD, Blu-ray to get released without an age rating. In America, you can just release it unrated. Now, you may think that's not bad, but the BBFC, they charge. Their price is this. Basically, if you want to release something straight to DVD, the film charge is £75. And then it's £7 per minute of the BBFC's time. Now, you may think that's not bad, but the BBFC have to go through everything on the DVD. They need to go through all the special features, which means they need to go through audio commentaries and everything like that. And when everything adds up, £7 per minute, it becomes really expensive. Now, that's fine for, big distributors and stuff, that they can afford it. But minor and independent distributors, it's hard for them. So it can take years for something to get released over here in Britain, because it needs to go through the BBFC. America, no, you can just release it unrated. So, because of this, everything needs an age rating. Everything needs an age rating. Even anime, television, everything. See? Anime here. Paddy and stocking. And, another thing they do is, I need to show you this. You see it's an 18 rated anime. 18 rated. First disc is rated 15. But the third one is rated 15 too, and second one is an 18. Which means that's the disc that caused this whole thing to be rated 18. And the BBFC would have to go through everything in order to give it a final rating. My opinion on who I like the most is, I think the BBFC is a better age rating system than the MPAA, because I always thought the R rating and the NC-17 rating are two of the most retarded age ratings they can possibly give anything. I mean, the R rating is that's a big gap. It's 17, and up, so you're coming out with an parents. That's a big gap between PG-13 and R. And then the NC-17 rating is completely ridiculous, because if it gets that, it's like, oh, a kiss of death. We don't want the NC-17 rating. Oh, no. But over here in Britain, some films strive to get an 18 rating. And I'm not going to lie, I've actually bought some films, I've watched some anime simply because it got an 18 certificate. So the 18 certificate can actually sometimes boost sales, and Quentin Tarantino, he doesn't have a single film that isn't rated 18. If one of his films get a 15, oh, that's the death of his career, he needs to get an 18 rating. So, yeah. But the fatal flaw of the BBFC is what I just went over, that the MPAA don't have. So, in all fairness, if the MPAA adopted the BBFC system and used their morals of sexual content being the lowest of the low and violence being the highest of the high, then the MPAA, I think, would be better. And if the BBFC would not make it illegal for everything not to be, to not have a rating, then it'd be much better. But they're both completely, flawed. They're completely flawed, both of them. Even though I've never really paid attention to the age ratings all my life. But I am fascinated by them, which is odd. So yeah, okay. So that's my video response to you. I hope you've learned something. I hope I've exposed you to how good and bad the BBFC are. So, yeah. I don't know if the MPAA charge. Do the MPAA charge for films? Because the BBFC do. Okay. So, that's it. Bye-bye.